regards to the scientific process.
No. He's just discussing to me about creation, about his beliefs. So I'm just being Socratic in a sense. Right? I'm trying to ask him, why do we believe these things are true? I haven't made any counter arguments to say, oh, this is why I don't believe X is true. He's just saying, I believe X is true. I'm saying, how do you? Because we agreed that there is a first cause, right? A principal cause. I'm saying, how do we know that has a mind? How do we know it has a will? How do we come to those conclusions, right? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, what conclusions have you come to already? So at least, because rather than us making up or just reinventing the wheel, let's agree on the things that both of us agree on anyway.
I agree logically, infinite regress cannot be true. There is some prime thing that causes other things, all other things to exist. I agree there, right? What I want to hear is to how we bridge the gap to a God with a mind, a God with a will, a God who wants you to act this way, a God who doesn't want you to act that way. How do we get to those things, right?
Okay, so you do believe in a prime mover,
Yes.
as it were, yeah?
As Aquinas would assert, yes.
Okay, so that prime mover, naturally, you accept that there was no one before him, yeah?
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, no, I don't know, I know one. I'm just saying there is some principal cause.
There's no being before that being.
I mean, I'm not even. Yeah, I'm saying, how do we even know it's a being in the way that you guys mean? I'm saying there's a primary first cause.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
How do we know what?
So when we look at
So this is my first big one. Everyone's yeah. This is tense. I better not win no shit arguments.
you know what? There's no like you say.
I know.
Yeah, there's no
If you put next to them, they're gonna.
yeah bad arguments per se, as long as you're honest, intellectually honest. And the thing is, look, Ananda, I'm not here to convert you. I'm not here to kind of score points over you. If you feel uncomfortable or whatnot, you can just walk off.
No, I'm perfectly happy.
Yeah,
This is my first time actually out here today.
Yeah.
I've only really debated online, so having this bare people is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of nice. It's different as well, isn't it?
It definitely keeps me on my toes.
It does. But I'm not here to kind of swoop you off your toes either. You want to take your time, you take your time, whatever it is. So I guess the point that I'm trying to say here is, if we start off with something elementary, I mean, we agreed that there is a prime cause. Yeah. So when it comes to this prime cause, we accept that the prime mover, the first one, whoever it is, there was no one before that cause. So independence is something we can attribute to that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's a great start.
Okay, so we have independence. Hashim, you can come as well. Yeah, you can come as well. Yeah, you can come as well. So you got independence.
Okay, I agree.
Now, when you're familiar with the contingency argument, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm not going with the causation argument, even though both of them can be melded into one. I'm going with the dependency argument. You can't have an infinite regress of dependent things, therefore there has to be a necessary being at the end of the chain.
I agree.
Yeah. So the necessary being is whom we're dealing with now. We acknowledge that it has to be independent. So when from the necessary being comes something contingent. Now the question is, that contingent thing, why is it one way and not another way? That's our question. You understand where I'm going, yeah?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's one way and not another way, when it could be any other way, shows that the independent being has a will.
I don't know that.
So will, the thing is, look, it's logical for you to assume that the independent being has a will. Reason being, if, for example, the car could be red, blue or green, you seem really cold. Do you have like a coat or anything?
I was warm when I left the house, to be real, but I'll be good. Lovely sentiments.
You know what? Let me give you my thing. You know what? I'm actually not cold, but
please,
seeing you shiver, it's gonna make me.
No, I'm good. I don't feel uncomfortable or anything like that. I'm like,
As soon as you do, bro, I've got a shirt underneath.
I appreciate that.
I'll give you my one.
Very lovely sentiment.
The only reason I looked at you, I was looking at your build, and we're both equally skinny, so we're good.
Yeah, but don't worry, I'm fine.
As soon, bro, please. No, honestly.
That's lovely. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So red, blue, green. If I opt for red as opposed to blue and green, I am making a choice. I'm willing. That's a sign of a will. Yeah, that it's one way and not any other way. So the fact that you have a contingent creation that's emerging, that's being formed, and it could be one way, not any other way, indicates logically that there has to be a will. It's actually a Ghazalian argument.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, when you say will, does it have to be something that's... Okay, so what I really want to ask is, would you take a will to mean, and would you take the nature of God's will to be? Because obviously, we're not going to say that God has a series of thoughts one after the other. We're not going to say that. It can't be a temporal chain of thoughts, right? So, in what way does God's will act? In what way is God's will?
So when we're talking about will here, I'm going to keep it very simple. Very similar to the question or the example that I gave. That the fact that something is one way and not another way indicates a choice being made.
See, but I don't know if it indicates an intelligent choice being made. It can be something that's...
No problem. But we can put it on ice. But we can see, we can logic.
I agree so far.
Yeah, okay. So, bro, you're more than welcome to jump in at any time you want.
I'm just learning.
Any time, bro. Just jump in.
Okay.
So now we've got will, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, when you look at what's around us, the contingencies of the universe, because the universe is contingent, would you say that the universe is intelligent? There's
The universe in of itself.
there is intelligence.
Derived in the universe.
There is intelligence within the universe.
Yeah, so are you going to say that intelligence won't arise from something that's not intelligent?
Yeah, so I'm saying that again with intelligence.
So that comes back to induction.
Okay, go ahead.
So inductively, have you observed all ways in which intelligence comes to be?
No, at the moment we're talking about thought experiments. We're not talking about us having to, and that you don't necessarily have to observe everything. For example, a necessary being. You've agreed that, but we don't.
No, but necessary things are true by their very nature. We're not talking about a necessary statement. We're talking about a contingent statement.
So you're talking about deduction, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm saying that when we're coming to this conclusion that it should be this or it should be that, how do we reason that that's through intellect and not through some natural proclivity of the thing?
Okay. So if let's just carry this on. So we're on intelligence at the moment. So if there is intelligence, would you say that intelligence can come from non-intelligence?
I'm saying that I have not observed all ways in which intelligence comes to be. So I cannot assert, I can say, I think it's logical based on what I can induct right now.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, which is fine.
Let's make two distinctions here. The first distinction is for us to know truth and certainty. We're not claiming truth or certainty.
You'd agree that's through logic and rationale, right?
Yeah, so what I would say is we're trying to arrive to the inference to the best explanation. So the inference to the best explanation.
Parsimonies.
Sorry?
Parsimonies.
Okay, is that inference to the best explanation?
Kind of. You know like Occam's razor?
No, Occam's razor is different.
So you're not trying to say that basically because it's
Occam's razor says that it's sometimes the simplest things that are the answer as opposed to...
Kind of.
Yeah, that's a very simplified kind of way.
Kind of more putting a sense of parsimony to say that while there could be other answers, this stands to be the most viable answer. Is that what you're basically saying?
No. I'm saying it's the most logical of the possibilities.
So the most valid. Try a different way.
Okay, you can say valid.
Sure. Yeah. So what makes us decide that this is the one? Just even though, for example, you could say in like a murder case, oh, the boyfriend was in the house and the girlfriend's been murdered.
Yeah.
Very, very logical to say it was him, right?
Yeah.
But we don't account for the fact that it could, any number of other things could happen in contingent things, in contingent scenarios, right? When we're talking about contingent things, I don't know how we decide that because there's just one answer and it seems more logical, why do we decide then that that is the answer? Right? What gives us that certainty?
So the thing here is, when you take one thing by itself, for example, will, our argument's not being made solely by the will. Yeah? So it's will, we look at power, we look at intelligence, and then we go on from there. So what we're doing is we're scaffolding an argument, and then we're taking the inference to the best explanation from that. Now, again, we can attack the argument from different aspects, but when you're saying no, we have to have something that's objectively certain and objectively
I'm
true.
not saying we have to, I'm saying what gives one that certainty.
but that's what I'm saying. I'm not claiming certainty. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's why I said inference to the best explanation.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Did I claim certainty? Maybe.
No. I was just asking what it
Okay,
is.
yeah, no worries. Yeah, so power. Yeah, I would also argue that the necessary being also has power as well, because power gets.
He sets in motion all things.
Yeah, so power.
So motion has to have some start point that has push.
Yeah.
Sure.
So power comes from something with power, in other words.
Okay, great.
So you've got power, you've got intelligence, you've got will. These sorts of things make sense.
Yeah, I agree so
Yeah.
far. This is great.
Yeah. So where would you say that we're disagreeing? Because it seems like we're.
Okay, so far I haven't per se disagreed. Obviously, the guy I had previous conversation with, obviously, very different way that you approached it, right? Where you've approached it very, very clear, point to point. So this is great. So I haven't really disagreed. I just asked him to explain why we come to these understandings. You've done that very excellent. You've done that very excellent. Why you have these understandings, right? So I have no disagreement so far with everything you said. I agree. So then how do we then come to believing, okay, for example, I want to ask, when God created everything, right?
Yeah.
Is that one all-encompassing thought that encompasses all creation? Or is there a series of thoughts?
Sorry.
So when God creates everything, right?
Okay, so when you say God,
Yeah.
let me.
We're just defining it the way that we have so far.
Yeah. So okay.
Has a will, it has power, it has some sort of intelligence.
Right. So here now, what we do is we reach a juncture here. So we say that this independent being now has these following characteristics. Now, what does Islam say? So what I'm now doing is I'm giving you the Islamic conception, and we're seeing if it's. Yeah. So the Aqidah in Islam
No, I mean, what is yours?
is Muslim.
So you don't particularly hold to like an Ash'ari or a Maturidi or a Atari Salafi position?
I'm a Muslim. Not on camera, because then what happens is certain people will take hold of certain things, and then things get blown out of
When
proportion.
you're going to say like an Ash'ari say, when Allah descends to this heaven, they're going to say in some way that befits His Majesty, they're going to say the angels come down and give mercy and give blessings, right?
Right.
Whereas the Ash'ari is going to say, no.
Let me even go to something more fundamental than that. So the four-pronged approach of any Muslim, regardless of their aqidah or whatnot, they take one of the last chapters of the Quran, which, because you're familiar with Ash'ari Maturidi, maybe you're familiar with the chapter as well. It's called the Surah Ikhlas, chapter of Ikhlas.
Common beside you.
Yes, you know your stuff.
Oh, I'm a religious studies student.
At a university level, or
Oh, one day.
okay, so you're doing independent studies.
Independent study, and then I'm starting in September, essentially.
Okay, university.
No, I have to do. I did a bit bad at school, so I had to do the access course route and then get into uni. But
Bro, I mean, you seem like you're on the right track.
hey, you're not unintelligent yourself. You're not intelligent yourself.
So the thing here is, when it comes to the four-pronged approach, say He is God, the one, the independent. Sorry,
That Tawheed
that's
will be.
Qul huwa Allahu ahad.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we're just staying very basic, very
So
simple.
you're not even talking about types of Tawheed.
No, I'm not going into that. I'm staying with something very fundamental. Something, when it comes to Aqidah and stuff like that, you can debate with the Sheikh and stuff like that. Because the thing with that is, again, you need a specialized form of knowledge. I don't claim to be a scholar. I can.
If you ask me a question I didn't know, I wouldn't want you to be like, I'll answer it right now. Like I'm gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate that. So fundamentally, the belief of every Muslim is, say He is God the One, independent, doesn't beget nor is He begotten, and there's none like unto Him. So if somebody now comes up with the criteria and says, oh, so and so is God, that person's God, what do you think? I will say And sometimes, you know, even when I'm discussing with people, I say, okay, what would be your criteria for a God? And the person would say, okay, he has to be strong, he has to be this, he has to be that.
Sure, so what you're saying is that the criteria that maybe someone like Aquinas is given for what the necessary being is, you say that the attributes that God claims to have in the Quran, you say that aligns ontologically with that.
Yeah, so Aquinas, just remind me what Aquinas...
So Aquinas is just saying the unmoved mover, you know, all objects have motion. In order for an object to have motion, it must be moved by another thing. We cannot have an infinite regress of movers, therefore there is unmoved. And that argument stands independent of any Trinitarian, any particular religion. The 5 ways are purely designed to just prove that there is a necessary being.
Right.
And then you move on no matter kind of how we've gone from the necessary beings established, then we go to why is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
That's nice, you've got the lingo.
Yeah, my message was Philistine.
Okay, and you have these discussions with them as well, yeah?
So,
Okay,
let's go to the deeper side of things. He's like, listen, like, that's not, I'm just a regular Muslim guy, you know, so we're out here discussing sort of thing.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So that's why I'm saying that, look, as a regular Muslim guy or somebody that, you know, wants to know about God, as a Muslim, the yardstick or the pH test that we've been given is Surah Ikhlas. Yeah. So then from there you've got Aqidah Tahawiyya, and then from there is the interpretation of the Aqidah Tahawiyya that you'll get the Asharis, the Maturidis, and the Atharis and the likes, and for that you can go to specialized knowledge. But fundamentally, like, there being a prime mover, that prime mover has a will, has intelligence, has power. It's not logical that prime mover having power and having, you know, contingent creations, it doesn't make sense for him to leave us be because we're dependent upon him. It makes sense if, for example, there are a bunch of religions. Yeah, human beings, we have an innate disposition to believe in a and I'm so conscious, I'm seeing you shivering and it makes me feel so bad.
No, I'm really good, don't worry.
Okay, so when we believe that there's an innate disposition, that a lot of people believe in a God in a afterlife. Yeah, the fitra, they believe in an afterlife, they believe in a God. So when so many religions believe that there is a being, that there is a prophet of sorts, that there is a book of sorts, then it makes sense for us to say, okay, philosophically it makes sense, rationally it makes sense, teleologically, when you look around us, you can, yeah, it makes sense that there's a purpose, and then there's, you know, everything else, everything around us has a purpose. Therefore, we must also have a purpose as well. Makes sense. Okay, that we didn't sporadically just come into being, just come into existence. So then it then coalesces into 3 kind of everyday discussions, which is, okay, when you see everything around you, would you say that there's a 4th option with this? That the universe, or us, included in the universe, we were created, we created ourselves, or we were created from nothing? Do you believe that there's a further option that maybe I haven't mentioned?
No, I think it's
Which of, yeah.
When you say we are created,
Yeah.
how does that distinct from we are created? What's the distinction between those two?
So when you say we're created from nothing, typically, atheistically, that refers to sporadically, like, you know, the Big Bang. They say there was nothing, then there was something.
Kind of. I'm not going to talk on that too much because I'm no good at science, but I understand they assert some principle called the Schwinger effect, which is do 2 things ripping apart and creating space. I understand that's what they say. I'm no science man, but when you say created from nothing versus just created, I'm asking, what is the just created? What does that mean in distinction to nothing?
You're asking about nothing, like how?
Yeah, because you said there's 3 options, that we are created,
Yes.
we create ourselves, and we create from nothing. I'm saying, what do you mean in the first one?
Yeah, so it's very simple. If I have, for example, a set of keys in my hand,
Yeah?
yeah, if
So
those,
you're just saying that it's created from something else.
yeah, so created from nothing means that it wasn't there and then suddenly it's popped into existence.
No, I get that part. I'm saying, I was
Yeah.
just saying what you meant when you said created from. I just thought, I didn't know what you
Ah,
meant.
okay.
But now I know what you mean. So from something else, creating so and so.
Yes. So when I say created, then I would say that, okay, if we analyze the discussions of the inference to the best explanation, this is what we're coalesced to. That either we came from nothing, either we created ourselves, or either we were created.
I would agree with the last one so far.
Yeah,
Based
that-
on what we're establishing.
Yeah. So when we look at so we're created. Okay, so now that we're created, what logically would follow? Many gods, a monotheistic God. So then I would assert my next point.
I would
Again,
agree. We're just going to go on sort of like a Neoplatonic sort of understanding.
yeah, very simple thing that if the Clash of the Titans, if they
We're
were
not going to say there's multiple beings with an independent will and all power. That's not going to work.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Some people have this polytheistic or the Trinitarian notion that
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, listen, my understanding of the Trinity is not that God is three ontologically separate beings and separate ones. They're going to say that God has one divine essence and three underlying realities. Which I don't think that's polytheism. I wouldn't say that.
you wouldn't say
I wouldn't
that,
say that's polytheism.
right? But how have you understood that? Because till this day, I find it difficult to kind of understand that.
I mean, once again, maybe you need to read some Aquinas. Maybe that's the trick. Aquinas answers all the
Was he a
questions.
Trinitarian?
Absolutely, he's a Catholic theologian of the 12th century and the best of them all. And I'm not a Catholic, bear in mind once again.
Yeah.
But his work is any question like from Protestants, they are independent of this tradition, so they don't have something they lead back to like a giant time. It's kind of like your Ibn Taymiyyah or your Ibn Avicenna, Ibn Sina, those sort of figures, those great Imam Malik, people you can fall back on to establish your views.
Yeah.
The Protestants don't have, so when a lot of times the Protestants debate in on one, if you come to a smart Catholic theologian, they can answer all your questions. And I'll be honest, because I've had those conversations, they can explain how Trinity works, they can explain how incarnation works, and they can overcome the logic of the Trinity. I've observed it myself, right? So when they say we're going to the Trinity, they're just pointing to three underlying realities. So one is saying that the Father is God, He is God here, and God exists in all His ontological
The
nature.
Father is God.
Yeah, but we're also saying that God has knowledge of Himself, right? And we're going to say that God's knowledge is identical to Himself.
Right.
So they're going to say the Son is God's knowledge of Himself, because it's identical to Him, and yet your knowledge of yourself is you, but it's not.
When you say knowledge of the self, you mean consciousness, like my awareness?
Not like you and mine. Right? But you're talking about God, right? So we're not talking about analogous concepts. If anything we comparatively have to God is a pale imitation of the real thing. Right?
But the thing, Ananda, is the issue with this is it's all well and good.